Here's more wrestling news for January 22nd, 2023, and we're starting off with Vince McMahon, who is back on top of WWE after the resignation of his daughter Stephanie. After Stephanie stepped down, it was reported that she and her father struggled to work together, but what is Vince's relationship with his son-in-law, Triple H? For years, there were rumors and reports of the two being at odds over creative, but on the Bill Simmons podcast, WWE CEO Nick Khan refuted the idea. There's always been a lot of Twitter chatter that somehow Triple H and Vince McMahon aren't getting along. I think everybody is getting along just great. When asked whether McMahon's return could undo some of the sweeping changes the game has made since last July, Khan didn't see that happening. I don't think so. I think Vince is really happy with where the company is at. Certainly that is what he has conveyed to me. What he said to me, and I've certainly experienced, is, okay, I'm 77 now, I want to explore our strategic alternatives. Is there a sale out there? Is there a merger out there? What would make sense most for the company? Vince McMahon has supposedly returned to WWE just to oversee a sale, though many aren't buying that's all he's interested in. And despite the resignation of Stephanie, WWE remains just one big happy family, according to Nick Khan. It was less than a year ago that reports came out claiming that Vince McMahon had paid millions to cover up affairs he had with female WWE employees. Anyone who saw WWF programming in the Attitude Era knows Vince's wife Linda McMahon, and these affairs led to genuine questions as to the couple's marital status. According to Dave Meltzer, the couple remain married at this time, but their relationship may indeed be beyond repair, as he reports, technically they're married, they haven't been together in a long time though. This statement comes after former WWE superstar Rene Dupree claimed last year that the McMahons haven't lived together in decades, and any public image of being united is just for show. When Linda was asked about her husband's sudden retirement last July, the senior politician refused to answer, but later remarked that Vince would need to figure out what he would do with his free time. Clearly, the relationship between Vince and Linda is tenuous at best, and with Vince being seen with another woman during his retirement and never being seen with his wife, it appears that reports of their crumbling marriage are entirely accurate. This coming Saturday, WWE will host its 36th Royal Rumble event, which, if previous shows are to be believed, will be a night of surprises. For decades, fans have been treated to surprising debuts and returns in the Rumble matches, but WWE has a slightly different strategy this time around. Fightful Select reports that while numerous veterans have reached out to WWE about appearing in the Royal Rumble, WWE is favoring what is being called non-traditional surprises. We're not quite sure what this means, but we do know that last year, WWE was adamant on leaving out names from NXT, so perhaps some Gold brand stars will get the chance to shine in 2023. In the past, WWE has relied heavily on past female talent for the Women's Rumble match, but with the rehirings Triple H has made since becoming head of creative last July, that women's roster seems to be in much better shape this time around. WWE has brought in indie veteran Jason Cade to aid Tyson Kidd with putting the Women's Rumble match together, and we'll have to see what non-traditional surprises WWE has in store. If betting odds are to be believed, then Rhea Ripley is the favorite to win the Women's Rumble match, a bout she was the runner-up in 2021. Ripley's work with the Judgment Day has seen her certainly look impressive each week on TV, but Ripley has plans next Saturday for more than just the Women's Rumble. Sitting down with Sportskeeda Wrestling, Ripley said that she would love a chance in the Men's Rumble match, a feat that Beth Phoenix, a personal idol to Ripley, did in 2010. The Glamazon isn't the only woman to compete in a Men's Rumble, as Chyna did it first in 1999 and 2000, and Nia Jax became the first woman to compete in a Men's and Women's Rumble on the same night in 2019. On this week's Raw, Ripley had a face-off with Solo Sikoa, but the pair did not come to blows, but a shocking Men's Rumble win would put Ripley in the sights of Sikoa, Roman Reigns, and the entire bloodline. Before the Royal Rumble, though, tomorrow's Raw will be the 30th anniversary of the Red Brand, and there will be plenty of Hall of Famers at the show. As PW Insider was first to report, the show will also feature one of the biggest icons of women's wrestling, as Lita will be at the show and will be filming material for A&E. A trailblazer who broke the mold that women in WWE had to be blonde bimbos, Lita would become a 4-time women's champion, and she'll be bringing a ton of excitement to next week's Raw. from names of the past to names of the future, as it was in late 2022 that news broke that Karl Fredericks had signed with WWE. Prior to signing, Fredericks had been with New Japan Pro Wrestling for 4 years, and he's now made his debut for NXT. Appearing at a live event in Fort Pierce, Florida, Fredericks confronted Axiom in the ring and teased that he was going to say something. Fredericks was holding the mic throughout his debut but didn't say a word, garnering boos from the fans in Fort Pierce and establishing the New Japan alum as a heel. It remains to be seen how long it takes for Fredericks to appear on NXT TV, but after honing his skills for years in Japan, the future looks incredibly bright for the 32-year-old wrestler. In 2003, Bill Goldberg made his debut for WWE, spearing The Rock on the post-WrestleMania 19 edition of Raw. Goldberg's first run with WWE would last for just 1 year, and he didn't exactly garner a good reputation during his tenure. That's according to Rene Dupree at least, as during the latest episode of his podcast, the former superstar spoke about working alongside Goldberg nearly 20 years ago. He was so goddamn dangerous in the ring, but he wasn't there long too. He didn't even do house shows, man. I think he did 1 or 2 house show loops the whole time he was there. If you could get the deal, go for it. Good for you. Dupree is hardly alone in his opinion of Goldberg, as many, most notably Bret Hart, have been critical of the former Universal Champion and his work in the ring. Dangerous or not, Goldberg has had an incredible career that few could only dream of, though we doubt that Dupree is in any hurry to share the ring with him again. When John Cena debuted in 2002, fans caught their first glimpse of the future legend and his impressive physique, so it was hardly a surprise that Vince McMahon decided to push him. Within 2 years, Cena was the United States Champion and rose to the WWE title a year later, but John wasn't the only impressive specimen on the roster. Speaking on his Café de Rene podcast, former WWE superstar Rene Dupree was asked if John ever felt threatened by talent who looked similar to him, such as Chris Masters, and said that this was definitely the case. Ultimately, Cena would outlast countless superstars to become one of the biggest names in the history of professional wrestling, but Big Match John always kept an eye open for any talent who could have matched his impressive look. And we're ending today with Jay Briscoe, whose life was tragically cut short in a car accident this past Tuesday. Since then, tributes have poured in for the ROH Hall of Famer from countless wrestlers and multiple promotions, and Hit Row's top Dolla has also gotten involved. During a WWE digital exclusive interview with Kathy Kelly, Top Dolla said, "I'm from where them boys mask up until you reach for the sky," a line that many fans won't have noticed the significance of at first. Fans of the Briscoes, though, will know that Jay and Mark were called Dem Boys, and that "reach for the sky" was a catchphrase for the veteran tag team. Dolla is one of many people to share a tribute to Jay, a sign of just how many lives he touched, and we're continuing to offer our condolences to his family and those who knew him at this awful time.